Sorry, just. Hey, I know this is kind of impromptu, but like this is that needs to be said. Well, first off, let me start this by saying that thank you to my dear friend Chris. Hey, Nubs, how's it going? From my dear friend Chris from Parachills for his words today during the live stream. It honestly brought up some things that I felt needed to be addressed. That needed to be said, simply. I'm trying to do it like this, so I do this as distraction free as possible. Some are aware of an incident where I had a bit of a hulking out moment. Where I ended up snapping apart my old office chair. I made me think of letting someone in who was clearly out for their own game. A couple of you who are in the audience right now that may watch the play may be aware of who that is. In order to maintain the last little bit of respect I have for that person, I'm not going to be mentioning any names. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dakota Franson. The latest iteration of the projects I've been involved with, I go by the Specialist of the Strange. That name in itself was brought up as a bit of an inside joke with a good friend of mine. Hey, Lexi, how's it going? Title was Dakota Franson, Specialist of the Strange and Fucked Up. Because it seemed like no matter where I went in the world, something weird or something intense would come up. I've dealt with supernatural things all my life. Got into actually investigating when I was 14 as a distraction from things that were going on at the moment. Things that unfortunately are been coming up to the surface because of a situation that's going on with a young lady that's in the next room that lived with me because she was going through some similar things. What the hell is it with the women in my life? I honestly don't know my own full story. Where most of the ties that could help me backtrace why I have certain qualities, for lack of a better word, I had to separate myself from, which means I had to cut away almost all of my family. And some of you may know, I don't come from a small litter. To the best of my knowledge, I have 11 sisters and 6 brothers. And I am the oldest. Now, dealing with the supernatural, it's always been an interest of mine. Cryptids, ghosts, aliens, you name it. But I had to take on a pursuit of something in this field because otherwise I was going to end up dead again. Something that I might not be able to come back from. You see, when I was about 11, 12 years old, there's a situation. The town I grew up in was bullied a lot because I was the bigger kid. And it wasn't necessarily that I was a fat kid, it was just the fact that right now I'm 6'7". I was always tall. It just doctors have checked several times to make sure there wasn't anything wrong with me. Well, as far as I could tell, genetics just played into my favor. That's all it was. And some of you who have followed for a while now know I did a film called The Hunt for Olivia. Olivia is my daughter, who stopped me from, who came to me after I decided. What had happened was I went to commit the act. Bright blue light came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, this man popped up in front of me. I wasn't able to move any of my body. I was only able to look around, and all I just saw was this blue light. The way it moved, similar to being underwater in a way. This man's vision, his image, with a long white robe, kind of a dirty blonde, kind of brownish hair. He walks up to me and says, "Dakota, there's someone here to see you." He steps aside. There's this little girl standing behind him. immediately I saw that she liked me. I was just bawling her eyes out. I finally get control of my body. I fall down. She runs up to me, wraps her arms around me. And their exact words were, "Daddy, please don't do it." And there's kind of an earlier cut of that movie that is available on this channel if you want to check it out. I capture her voice. Voice of a child that wasn't even born yet. I don't even know who her mother is. Well, fucking tell me so I can figure that out. Honestly, that stuck with me. For years, I was honestly afraid to tell that story because I didn't want to end up in a psychiatric ward. I didn't want to be medicated because I knew that having those pills in my system would take away the ability that I had. It wasn't my first run-in, but it was the most meaningful. And I'm kind of scatterbrained. But the town I grew up in was quite religious based. And not only was I getting made fun of, constantly getting in the fights, be my size because of that stupid fucking line that if you don't want anybody to try messing with you, find the biggest dude and knock the crap out of him. But what the hell am I supposed to do in that instance, you know? I didn't go to the church. I was an outcast, and being that it was a small town, strongly affiliated with nearby old mining towns, there were plenty of ghosts. I mean, hell, there's a report of small train tracks that run through that town where an older woman, I talked to her about it, but she's dead now. An older woman swears she saw what looked like a 5-year-old running a saw. Dealing with the supernatural saved my life on multiple occasions. When I was 14, I found out that my father was being accused of sexually assaulting sisters. Apparently, it had been going on for years. Needless to say, I wanted to kill him. I mean, he was former military, and even police who knew my backstory were saying, "You stay away from him, or we can't stop what's going to happen if he gets his hands on you." And part of me felt guilty for that. I wasn't around my father. I was separate. Choking on air over here. I was separated from my father's side of the family after, at the age of 3, my stepmother, pissed off about the constant police presence getting called on them, stabbed me in the back of the neck back when I was at the age of 3, and I fought back. I started screaming at her. She grabbed me by the wrist, dragged me into the kitchen, put a 6-inch knife in my hand, and said, "Come on, do it." Started antagonizing me. Eventually, I tackled her, pinned her to the floor. She was 4'11", so for an overgrown 3-year-old who always looked double his age up until recently, it wasn't that hard. I stabbed her. And that's what it took to get me away from that. And I get people who ask me all the time if my father ever tried anything with me. I honestly don't remember. But knowing what I know now, I can't rule out the possibility inside of there that he attacked me as well. He was so much of a fucking dick that even the judge that sentenced him said that he should be dragged out in an alleyway and shot. And I haven't seen my father in 10 years. My own mother would constantly bring up that knifing incident. Made me feel like an animal. And for those of you who may be trying to comment to talk to me, I've steered away from the chat so I can focus on what I need to say. So I'm not purposely ignoring you, just something needs to be said. And honestly, it doesn't stop there. This isn't. I'm not trying to look for a pity party. It's just time for me to explain some things. From the age of 14 to 22, I couldn't go one holiday without someone dying. I've had friends of mine get shot by their attackers. I was once engaged. And probably should have done this on my phone. I was once engaged, and the woman I was engaged to, she was trying to escape an abusive partner to save the baby she was pregnant with. Sorry about that. And like I was saying, my fiance Shania, she was trying to escape a guy. Somehow he found out about me. He had issues with drugs, with alcohol, and he broke into her place and killed her because she didn't tell anyone about me. She was afraid that someone was still talking to him. She kept me a secret. I'll set myself up for fucking catfish, but nevertheless. And the baby, her name was Rose. The baby couldn't have been saved. Something you know that I recently taken in my 14-year-old cousin. She was being assaulted and left in a mental institution for rebelling. Granted, there were some other issues affiliated with that justified professional evaluations, but it was a move to try to keep her away from that influence. And there's going to be some people who are going to get ticked off that I say this, but all these incidents were what brought my attention to the Hat Man. And that's why I've been tracking him. I've been made aware of another attack that was a very same MO as the one we saw in the parachills live. People coughing up blood, shadows popping out of nowhere, violent reactions, loss of air, you name it. And I know who he is. It's Cain from the Bible. And I know this because he admitted it. Yeah, you can go try to say demons lie, but why would he choose that? Demons are a lot more human than you realize. Some of the weakest ones are corrupted souls. People who have raped, people who have murdered. And there's evidence to point that the Hat Man fucking recruits. I'm saying this all because it's been brought to my attention. Some people have been trying to drag me into question. Some people have tried to take advantage of certain things that I purposely don't tell a lot of people about. For one, the man that brought my daughter to me may have been none other than the fucking Archangel Michael. He shows up too. I have recordings that possibly may even be God himself. And unfortunately, because I've been around the supernatural for so long, death isn't an escape. One reason I don't tell people about this stuff because, quite frankly, I haven't found anybody worth trusting. And the second part, which is why I'm not going into full details of the new Hat Man protocols, is that if people knew the full plan, because of where he sits on the astral realms, planes, whatever you want to call them, if too many people are thinking the same thing, demons and angels will take notice. I've had people try to suggest that COVID-19 was demonically induced. It wasn't. Hell's an opportunistic bastard. And I can say that I've been to the part of China where they say the virus originated from. I can tell you why it got so bad. Because I've been hospitalized in China. First, I was hospitalized in Xi'an. It's where the terracotta warriors are. And for what the tour guide referred to is a small town of 4 million people, which coming from a small town of just a little over 100, that blew my mind. They only had 4 hospitals that are very understaffed. Only Chinese authorities, and I'm probably going to get myself in trouble because of new laws recently passed in China where you can't talk back about the fucking governments. It seems like their approach to dealing with the overpopulation issue is to help everybody die off. Which, considering the rumors of mass burnings, mass graves, and the towers they're erecting in order to try to turn the pollution in more populated areas into jewelry, certainly makes you question what's really going on. I know it probably seems like I'm getting kind of sidetracked here, but I got into these ventures to explore, to try to understand the world better. And I've seen nothing but people going against each other, people proving why it's so hard to trust. We can't even go through, and we can't even trust our fucking news media. And joining parachills was a response to the fact that there's yet another military asshole I will rip to shreds if I see him in person. I know about standing strong, standing at truth, walking with peace, and I will act civil. But I refuse to stand down when I know this stuff is going on. And I'm saying this because I know for a fact that since the pandemic, domestic violence has gone up, mental health has gone up, and because these things can be passed genetically, we're going to feel the effects of this for a very long time. And the demons have taken notice. Much like the fraternity boys in the fucking CIA that laugh their asses off at seeing how easily people are manipulated into believing utter bullshit. Just look at the fucking anti-maskers who think that this all was a matter of control. know, it's trying to matter to try to fucking slow this thing down. But ignorance, unfortunately, prevails because those who express the most ignorance tend to breed quicker. It's all documented. It's scientifically backed. And yeah, I know I'm turning into a fucking venting measure. It may not seem very professional, and some of you may question. And that's fine. Question me. But don't start acting like a bunch of ignorant teenagers when you do it. Parachills was an opportunity to learn and to grow something I've been trying to build for myself. And it's come to my attention that some episodes concerning the family I've built coming into the crossfire, feeling hurt, having questioned whether or not they'll win the fight of their lives. It's been brought to my attention that I've been apparently yelling for them in my sleep. But I also know that taking a stand is the one thing that the assholes out there don't expect. And it's been a personal motivation of mine to purposely shove everything that I've pulled together. It's why I'm a shareholder in 11 different companies, and there's talks of acquiring a few more to try to build something to better the world. And there's even plans to utilize my own death to understand the supernatural better. And before anyone freaks out, no. It's going to be my natural death, and hopefully there's going to be new information that comes forward in which that doesn't have to be utilized. But we're possibly going up against the temperamental ass son of the devil here soon. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I'm not in this game to make friends, make money, all that. Sure. Being able to turn this into a full-time career to where I can give it my entire focus would be awesome. But it's also about taking a stand for those I know who are going to be going through similar situations like I have, and I'm not going to go through all the fucking details because it's a novel in the making. And some more stuff has come to the surface that I'm still trying to figure out. And the only two people in the world who have ever known the full story about me are dead, so opening up a little gun shy about. Because joining Parachills is the first time I've had something worth fighting for, a family worth fighting for. And trust me, in the next few months, you're going to see it. Because in the next few months, starting July, if I remember correctly, this goes to space. I may even, by 2023, I may even go up myself. Which the only thing I'm nervous about in that regard is the test models for the rocket I'd be going on keep blowing up. That's my stance. Because I'd much rather go down in flames for a cause than to live not knowing. Better yet, I'd much rather go. I should probably reword that. I'd much rather go down for a cause than simply sit back and watch this stuff happen. I do need to go. Because the world's gotten fucking insane enough to where mental health professionals are calling my help to deal with ghosts. And there's possibly a budding serial killer involved. So you all take care. Don't worry about me. I know that there's concerns regarding future projects. If, even though the odds seem slim, the fact that there's an archangel who has physically helped me fight off the demon that tried choking me to death, right there. All the signs point that even though time travel seems to be involved, the events that take place that allow my daughter to give birth are still in motion. And as long as she's not born, nothing's going to take me out. I can promise you that. And I'm just going to say this, because there is someone in particular I can't seem to stop worrying about, hence why I'm bald. You need my help for something, know that I will start bashing through front doors if I have to. You all be safe. Have an awesome weekend. You'll start seeing the shift very soon.